go. Welcome once again to Parting the Veil, the show where we pull back the curtain and show you more behind-the-scenes look at some of your favorite content creators. I am your host. My name is Hedron Ferry, and I would like to give a wonderful welcome and shout-out to one of the coolest of people, somebody I've interacted with a lot on social media lately, and somebody who's been nothing but an amazing and supportive person. Please help me welcome the lovely Katie of PacificWishes.
Hello.
Yes, that is your cue to go ahead and take it away.
Okay.
So welcome. I hope things are going well for you in general.
That's going all right.
That's good.
Picked up the last day or two.
That's good. You'll love to hear it. So, real quick, just for the folks at home, would you like to go ahead and give us a brief overview of kind of who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm PacificWishes. I mostly just play random games I like. Most of them are from a while ago because I'm in my 30s now. So a lot of what I grew up with was like GameCube era and such like that. So that is,
frankly.
Yeah, I can't argue with you on that. Yeah, it's just a lot of things that I like to do, and I got into actually streaming again, and it's been fun. So I just hope to find people that like what I do too.
Fair enough. I hope you found a little bit of that since you got started.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm happy.
It's been really nice.
That's fantastic. Well, we will definitely dive into that, but first and foremost, the burning question on my mind, and I assume everybody else's, but if not, it's my show, oh well. I have to ask, the name PacificWishes is fascinating and evocative. Can I ask about its origins?
Oh, yes. I get to tell the origin story of Katie here. Yay.
That too, please.
Yeah, so this was not originally a name I used for streaming or anything like that. This was back on Twitter well before everything changed, or this place, any of the other places even exist. But it was a roleplay account actually.
Okay.
So in 2018, 2019, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I just decided to make a beach girl character because I got inspired by a trip to California. And originally I was going to do something a little different, but when it came to this, it was like, okay, I had her set up Santa Monica. So the ocean made perfect sense because, ocean character and all. And I would try to come up with a username, and somehow the almost rhyme hit in my head. And, I'm using that.
Kind of sound alike a little bit.
So, what I got to going around this because of my friend Ruby taught me how to do certain things almost by accident.
Shoutouts to Ruby in chat. Thank you so much for the follow.
Yep, that's her. Decided to use Katie because that was kind of had turned into my favorite character of it. So it's like, oh, that's easy enough to do.
Fair enough.
So that's how I got here with that username.
Okay, that's fair. So this originally was an OC that was completely unrelated to streaming that has kind of elevated into your persona overall?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. All right. I don't mean to dig too deeply, but can I ask a little bit about what this roleplay was all about, or is that long since buried to the sands of time?
Oh, it's not long since buried to the sands of time. I'm not on that site anymore, but I still use her for that too.
Fair enough.
Over on Discord. But
fair enough.
But basically, it started off really just basic, where we had basically I just started as I wanted a nice chill character for a while, and Beaker, I just talk to people as I go and figure it out, and it didn't really take off for a while. And it wasn't until a couple years later where I started actually getting some good stories going with people.
Okay. Any notable highlights?
Well, ask my friend over there. Yeah. There's been one ongoing story with multiple characters, and they've been everywhere. And it's been like 4 years now.
Those are the best kinds, frankly.
Oh, they're so good. And I adore it, and we have basically built up story around that so much that that's my biggest way of building characters at this point, just kind of going. And well, I'm not sure how to explain exactly the details of everything on this because there's a lot of backstory now. But basically, we have this girl Katie that's just kind of hanging out, and she at this point she started as a college student, and we lasted for so long that she's graduated and working at ocean physics now. So
Nice.
and she ended up getting together with this a race car driver, so that gets interesting.
Fair. Go on.
And then there's this third character that ran away from a cult at one point. So
Wow, that was a lot to drop in a single sentence.
I don't know how to even describe how I got that. Was a nightmare that I turned into a character. Not even kidding.
Well, fair enough.
But she is fun for one reason. She's fun because you have to come up with ways for somebody that doesn't know modern stuff to describe modern stuff.
Ah, okay.
But Katie knows stuff a lot. It's the other one, but it's been fun.
Fair enough. So, like, how somebody displaced in time would look at our time and be like, how would I put this in terms that somebody else could understand?
Yes. And that is fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun, yeah. Well, I'm glad that it's been so successful and that it's been going for so long. And also, that's a fascinating origin story.
Yeah, I came here through the back door basically because I haven't watched many of the VTuber cred at all, outside of like the small ones.
Fair enough. Well, all right. That was a whole lot for me to. All right, let me see if I can't. I apologize. I'm scatterbrained. So
it's okay. So am I.
My first question was: so this character has apparently a pre-established mythos and backstory and whatnot. Do you think any of that has translated into, say, your like lore or the character you stream as in terms of like being a VTuber, or has that all just been kind of there's the character Katie that you use to roleplay with, and then there's the streamer Katie, which is just my persona, and they're two separate things?
I was been trying to get a little of that in, like the reason I started Pokemon Blue with Squirtle was literally just water type. That fits her.
Fair.
But I haven't been doing. It hasn't been as easy to actually dig around and try to get it out of my head when I'm in the middle of something as I thought it would be.
Fair enough.
So it's a little bit separate, but there's definitely an overlap there.
The goal is for there to be crossover.
Yes, there's some crossover, but it's not as much as I probably hoped at first, but that's okay. It's been working out.
Okay. I think that's how most VTubers are. It's like, hey, I have this whole elaborate lore with me that's like, you can engage with it if you want, but on stream, I'm just a goofy, streamer.
Pretty much.
But fair enough. That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, I'll go ahead and start with the VTuber-specific questions then, if you don't mind. You said this was an ascended character, but I'm curious, does this model or this character have any visual similarities to you IRL, or is it completely separate?
Oh, it's completely separate.
No details similar whatsoever?
Not really, no.
Fair enough.
I guess the hair color is very similar, but other than that...
Fair enough. Hey, part of the fun of doing this is getting to customize, right?
Yeah, I just kind of decided to make her, and it worked out.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess this is also pulling from both what you're using the character for before and a little bit of anything that's developed now. Do you mind going into a little bit of your lore, if you don't mind? Something that I can, a little bit of who the character is and what makes them tick?
Yeah, so basically... yeah, sorry, I just saw a comment in chat, that's great.
That is fair. That is doable.
It is. So basically, I got a little lucky with this because she is very slice of life sort of thing. So she basically decided to go through colleges so she could actually work near the ocean still and not have to be away from it as much.
Okay.
And so basically, I can bring some of that ocean theme stuff with pick certain decisions I make in games, or even a game that I have in my head itself, or just go with the theme a little bit sometimes.
Okay. So you just have a general, like, part of me playing the character is just going for ocean and beachy type things in general.
Yeah, pretty much. Because some of the things that we've done with the whole thing that don't really translate to being on a stream, as fun as that would be.
That's also fair. I mean, it depends on exactly what kind of stream it is.
I can't really get this sort of stream out to somewhere like in California or something like that. It's just not gonna happen.
I got
It's
you. I
not.
got you. All right, but hey, as long as it's working out for you right now, all right?
Oh, absolutely. It's been nice.
Hell yeah. So, pulling back a little bit from the VTuber specific stuff and getting into streaming in general. Um, so you mentioned that you weren't really into VTubers very much in general. Neither was I. But I'm curious, what did kind of get you into wanting to do content creation and streaming and whatnot?
It's an interesting topic there because I've done a couple of tries not in this verse where I just decided to play games before I was, out, uh, basically.
Fair enough.
So in those, the first time I tried was like 10, 12 years ago, and I was doing some speed runs, which were okay. I don't think I'd suggest actually going back to any of those games for speedrunning purposes because of luck, but oh well. The second one was just me trying to do random stuff, and I tried to get into the Ocarina of Time community, and it just didn't click. And that was right when I was figuring things out, so I just kind of quit then. But I had all the stuff available to go for it a third time when I started finally being myself a bit.
Third time's
And
a charm, right?
yep, and my friend, were starting to get into that VTuber thing just because it was an interesting thing for them. And I eventually kind of joined in after taking a little trip to clear my head.
Okay.
So that was kind of how I got here.
It was more of a circumstance thing, not really something you actively sought out.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, hey, something you fall into as long as you're enjoying it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I've found some nice people around to hang out with because of it. It's been really cool.
If I had a nickel for every person who came on this show who started their journey as a speedrunner, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, I have actually played most of my speedrun games casually on stream already. They say you can't go back. I disagree.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you used to speedrun Pokemon titles.
Mostly, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that segues.
I did try.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Please continue.
Yeah, I did Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and Pokemon. Which one was it? Blue Rescue Team, and then Zelda 1.
Okay. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, one of them's less mean.
Yeah, that's fair. Was it something you still enjoyed, or?
Oh, I enjoy those games, and the speedruns were decent enough. It's just I think I got tired of playing the same thing over and over again.
That makes sense. I can see speedrunning getting grating after a while.
Yeah, it's for certain people. Maybe it wasn't for me, but that's fine. You learn.
Fair enough. But that also does segue nicely into another question. Overall, what kind of content do you think you do? I know that you play a lot of Pokemon, but would you like to go into detail about that?
Yeah, that's just my favorite series, so that's where I play a bunch of it. I'll play around. It's a lot of stuff from old Nintendo systems. Like, I've done a couple of Zelda games. I actually have a randomizer I'm going to be doing very soon with a friend of mine.
Exciting.
I actually have a thing going right now where I'm actually playing a game I didn't grow up with from back then, a PS2 game, Gran Turismo 4, because I have a few friends that are into racing, and they find that very interesting.
Okay.
And
is it something you're finding interesting, or something you're just doing for them?
I started out just doing it for them. The first time I tried it was before I was streaming. I wasn't all that interested in it. There's a mod that they have now, and I've have a better start. I had a better start, so it's actually been a lot more interesting.
Okay, that's
So
fun.
I actually do want to bring it back.
What kind of mod was it, if I may ask?
They have a lot more different kind of races, so it basically opens up quicker, so you have more options.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's probably more cars in there. I'm gonna be honest, and I would have to leave the details to the others.
It's almost like increasing customization options. It makes players have more fun. Who knew?
Amazing, isn't it?
Right? It's a novel concept. So okay.
I just kind of play casually, so I just have fun and hang out.
Hey, that's what games are made for, right?
No question. If you're not having fun, what's the point?
That is true. I mean, I would say that not just fun, but like evoking emotions in general, because something like Darkest Dungeon wouldn't really be considered fun, but you know.
Yeah, no, you have a point there. You're right. You're right.
But you know, the sentiment still stands. Something that you can derive enjoyment from.
Yes, enjoyment probably the better word.
Absolutely.
For what I was going
Yes. Going back to you getting started, so you mentioned it was something you just kind of fell into. Has anybody either before or since inspired the kind of things that you do, or any major inspirations that you pulled from either back then or even after you got started, or are you just kind of existing in your own little bubble?
It's hard to say I have a specific person I go to, like I want to be like that. But I've been in the last year or two more into these like kind of laid back sort of streams where people are just enjoying what they like. So I kind of just want to build that.
Okay. Fair enough. Building a nice casual, we're just here to have fun and hang out kind of audience.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like to watch. I just kind of wanted to build something that I would like.
Fair enough. I had a question. What the hell was it? There it is. Okay. So going forward, in terms of the kind of things you want to do in the future, do you have any long-term goals or plans for your content aside from just build a casual community, or are you just kind of going with the flow? Pun intended.
Kind of going. Oh, sorry. I'm kind of going for the flow right now.
Okay, just letting what happens happens,
I'm already farther than I thought I would be, so.
which is fantastic, you know. But all right, fair enough. Also, I can't tell if you're cutting out or if you're just electing to stay silent sometimes. I sincerely apologize. If I am interrupting you, I apologize.
Oh no, I'm not the greatest at timing things sometimes, so that's all that is.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to apologize ahead of time if you're like saying something, but I start talking before it gets to me. That's all.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Fair enough. If I may ask, and you're free to pick and choose exactly what you say, but if I may ask, where were you kind of before you got into content creation as a overall, like what kind of stuff were you doing in general?
I mean, for this kind of stuff, with online stuff, I was mostly just staying on Discord and hanging out with just a few people. I've not been the most a public person around. Me even being on any social media at all, uh, like I have been over on Bsky, is like that is rare for me.
Fair. Kind of necessary for being a content creator, though, right?
I kind of threw my spot there just in case that place took off, and it kind of worked.
You like to take a what's the word I'm looking for? Take a precaution and have it pay off, right?
Yeah, it took me a while to even get used to that, though. So
fair enough. I hope that it's been an overall positive experience, especially since Bsky is so much less toxic than Twitter.
Oh, definitely. I know there's been a little drama around lately, but compared to what it was the other place,
it's the internet. It's inescapable.
Yeah, it's inescapable. But like I haven't been on Twitter since 2021 in any capacity, so
that's so fair.
I got mad at it for locking one of my characters. I just said no more.
I'm sorry, for locking one of your characters?
Yeah, basically, it just decided I couldn't do anything on it anymore, like the first day. And I just said, no, I'm done with it. That's like completely. Bye.
Yep, that's very fair. That would make sense. All right. So in terms of the kind of content that you do right now, aside from just your standard streams that you do regularly, is there anything else in general that you do or that you are kind of known for?
I used to write like 15 years ago Pokemon analyses over on Smogon, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Gen 5 Little Cup of all things.
Huh.
And I also had a Tumblr blog for like 10 years that was just looking into different Pokemon cards.
Fair enough.
And I kind of burned out on it only this October.
Okay, is it something that you still like are planning on coming back to, or are you just kind of putting it aside and saying this chapter of my life is over?
I'm not sure.
Fair. Options are open.
Oh, absolutely. I might go back. I sometimes think about it, but I also don't exactly feel like it lately. But I can't just say I'm never going back because it was enjoyable most of the time.
Fair enough. Is it all right with you if I pull it up and show people, or are you
Oh
gonna
yeah,
keep it
I
to yourself?
actually did not give that to you because I didn't think about it.
Fair.
You want me to just post it in chat for you?
Oh yeah, if
I
that's all
can.
right.
Yeah. Oh, I pressed the wrong button.
So that way I can.
There. That's the Tumblr.
If you
Tumblr
don't
part of the
mind,
day.
having people kind of being guided to it.
I don't mind. You go look through all that. A lot of the early stuff wasn't as high quality as what I got to, but I learned because what I did there was just one day. You know what? I like Pokemon cards. Let's go.
Oh, you sent it in Twitch chat. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put on Twitch chat. Sorry.
Gotcha. No, you're good.
If you want it in the other chat too, I'll post it there too.
Oh no, you're totally fine. But you said it was analyzing Pokemon. When you say analyzing, what kind of like analysis are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. It was mostly like the competitive side of things, actually.
Huh. Okay.
It was older stuff mostly, because I grew up playing that a lot.
So it's meta discussions essentially.
Yeah, but for individual cards instead of like the overall.
I got you. Okay. That's pretty neat.
I never really formatted it much. I just kind of went.
That's fair.
I do a little better of it now than I did back then.
These browser sources are so terrible. Let me try to do this a little bit better.
Browser sources are hard.
They really are. There we go. Something a little bit better. But fair enough. Yeah, and you've been keeping up with this for quite a while, it seems.
3275 was the last one I did.
Nice.
Part of me wanted to beat out the record of the other major card of the day site that existed, but they started way before me and they got to like 4,900. So I don't want to bother.
Fair enough. Were these numbered?
Go
ahead.
Yeah, I just know one at a time.
Okay. Are these numbered based on like the release date of the card, or just whatever day that you were working on that happened to be that day's number?
Yeah, whatever happened to be that day's number, because that wheezing and that Professor Elm's training method was like released like 15 years apart.
Oh, fair enough. It sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was fun. The reason I was doing some of the older ones again is I kind of want to go back and kind of fix what I messed up on. And also, there are a lot of fines where people actually started going back to play old things, and a lot of things changed.
Fair enough. I don't know too much about the Pokemon card game, otherwise I'd be asking you a bunch more questions. But I only really know, like, honestly, not really anything. Is it something that you played a lot of, or is it something you were more just into as a concept?
I actually went to a league a few times when I was like 11, 12 years old.
Okay. Did you win?
I was above average for that place, but our that I went to, but our level of competition wasn't that great. So
fair enough. I mean, back in the day, competition wasn't that great for any card game, except maybe Magic.
Oh, it was pretty hard to find places back then, and Wizards of the Coast did not do a very good job at organizing anything.
They also didn't really like sharing their space with other card games.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast actually had Magic and Pokemon back then.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And Pokemon Company decided they didn't like how Wizards was handling things, so they decided to just not renew the contract. And we're going to do it ourselves. And they made an entire extra company to deal with it.
Frankly, I don't blame them, especially with the weird shit WotC's been up to these days.
Yeah, so we went from having no championship in 2003 to like in a whole world cycle in 2004 when a Pokemon Company took over.
That's pretty neat. Okay. Fair enough. So, Moving on a little bit to a bit more stream-related stuff. Is this something that you try to do full time, or are you also employed outside of streaming?
Oh, this is definitely not full time for me.
Right.
This is maybe 2 to 3 times a week. Usually more like 2.
Okay. Would you like to go full time someday, or is it just kind of a hobby right now?
This is really a hobby for me.
Fair enough. If it's not too much, do you mind if I ask vaguely what you do for a living?
Oh, meteorology.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Are you like one of the people up on camera actually telling the weather, or are you like
No.
just one of the background? Okay.
We're in the. There are a lot of people in the background for those.
Gotcha.
If you don't work at a TV station anyway, I don't think most of those people will do it anyway. It's funny because a lot of what happens, it's like it's not just that. Like if you're there's a whole group behind the scenes that you never thought about until you start visiting these places. Like it goes from top level people in both government and private, but also you have these just people that like amateur radio relaying stuff.
Huh. Interesting. So, are you like, and forgive me for diving too deep, I'll back up if you want me to, but I'm super curious, are you like involved in the actual like weather prediction process, or are you more of like a kind of clerical, I don't know, I'm super curious, this is fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, it's a prediction side of things that I've really gotten into. So
Okay.
it was funny because a lot of the people that were going into it back when I was actually just looking into this in the first place wanted to be on TV, and there was just one or two of us outliers like, not really, we're good.
Fair. It's like, I'm fine behind a desk behind the camera, thank you.
Yeah, of course, when you actually go meet these people, there's actually more of them than you think. It's just a lot of the people that wanted to go into the TV thing just to realize they can't do it, and
That's so fair, though.
so some of them stayed on TV. They just went into like news media and such.
Fair enough. You don't have the personality to be a weather person, so go be a news anchor instead.
Oh, that's a funny thought about that. It was actually the other way because it's a math they don't like. It's a math they don't like.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all things.
Yeah. Some people just thought that was a good way to get on TV, and it turned out, yeah, you actually have to learn science and such.
I can imagine, yeah. Well, would you consider yourself a meteorologist, or do you work with meteorologists?
Yeah, I would consider myself one, yeah.
That's super fucking awesome.
And yet, I also have that other. There's actually, I did see a meteorologist that does speedruns now, which is kind of fun.
Fair enough. Okay. It's funny. I think that kind of ties into your whole like beach girl persona a little bit. For some reason, that just makes sense in my mind. Like, yeah, of course she works at the weather station. Where else would she work?
Yeah. Well, it's not a TV. Not all of it's at TV stations and stuff either. There's a lot of private companies, and there are a lot of.
There's a lot more that goes into it than just telling people what the weather is. I assume.
There's also like 100 something natural weather service sites that work for the federal government that they get into, and there's a lot of talking back and forth, and there's also a lot of stuff like storm spotter training that I've been to.
That's really fascinating. Do you ever do anything like out in the field, like going chasing down tornadoes and whatnot, or are you just mostly in the building?
Oh yeah, it's storm chasing's a whole other thing.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know anything about it, so
I do not have that kind of guts to do that. I ended up in the right area for a storm like once, and ended up getting smacked.
That is so fair. Man, that's fascinating. Thank you for sharing. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So, tangentially related to that, potentially, is this something that you really, really enjoy, or is it something that you just kind of do because it, pays well?
No, I really like it. I was at a time wanted to be like Jim Cantori when I was growing up, and that didn't exactly happen. Uh-oh.
Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what?
Oh, so something was freezing for a second. I'm fine now.
Okay.
My computer was like, I don't like this, and then all of a sudden said, okay, it's fine now.
Your computer decided, nope, interview's over.
I think we're good now.
Okay, good. Um, all right. Is this something that you've wanted to get into for a while, or is it just kind of a fell into your lap and was just, oh, this is fun?
Because that was kind of my dream when I was like even like 6 or so. Like I was watching the weather. I watched the Weather Channel growing up too much.
Fair. Okay.
It was like I was a little odd as a kid. I was like that in the Food Network.
Okay. No, Food Network I think is more universal.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
watched
was
Food.
into.
Everybody had a Food Network phase in their life.
Oh, okay, that's kind of nice to know actually, because I didn't know that. I was watching Emerald growing up, so
Fair. I might be projecting because I had a Food Network phase growing up, but I don't know. I feel like everyone does.
hey, as long as we both do, so that works for us.
Hell yeah. Nobody else matters. but but okay, that's fair. That segues nicely into. Are there any other interests outside of what you've shown on stream that you'd like to talk about? Anything else that you're really into, or anything like that?
Well, I go to my local minor league baseball games.
Okay.
Uh, they're bad. They always sell out, though. They have never not sold out, and they started in 2000.
Okay, that's fair.
Dayton Dragons.
I don't know any teams, but I'm a throw up a hell yeah anyways.
I wouldn't expect most people to heard of that. They're like 4th level.
At least
down.
some people have, given the audience reaction.
You know, somebody had to.
Exactly.
They're popular here. They are popular here. So that's cool.
That's good. That's
and also, I do like to travel places.
Oh, okay, perfect. I will come back to that, but first I want to just touch on this a little bit more. Are you like you like hardcore into baseball in general, or is it just kind of, oh, this is interesting and a fun way to pass the time?
Well, I'm not super hardcore in it, but I do watch it, and I do know how to keep a scorebook.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, something you ever hope to play someday, or?
I played in Little League back a long time ago.
Okay.
It didn't last because I wasn't that great, and I had other personal issues that I just kind of had to get out of it.
That's fair. Were you gonna say something else? I apologize. I cut you off.
No, I'm good.
Okay, fair enough. That also, you mentioned traveling. That is one of my questions, actually. Have you done a lot of traveling? And if not, do you plan to do any traveling?
I have done a lot of traveling inside the U.S., and I've gone to Canada twice.
It's a big country, that counts. Any
Yeah,
stories to share?
A lot.
Please do.
I've been to 48 states out of the 50, so.
Oh, okay. It's a big number.
Yeah, my most recent trip was to a big road trip with my dad to the West Coast. Kind of his last one as he's getting older. So we ended up going up. We went to the Packer Stadium in Green Bay.
Okay.
And then we headed out west, saw the Badlands in South Dakota. And then we went to Seattle, which I swear anything involving Seattle and me is cursed. I got sick there this time.
I'm sorry to hear.
Then I got started getting better as we headed to the peninsula, and we went to this really isolated beach, and that was really cool. It was like a lot of driftwood, though. It was interesting. We just went down the coast. We saw a few aquariums and such. Ended up down in California, and then started heading east. Dinosaur National Park was really interesting. There's this giant building built into a wall of fossils.
Huh. Built into a wall of fossils.
Yes.
My brain is having trouble processing that.
I'm not 100% sure how to explain how they did that, because I'm not sure. But the wall is just fossils.
That's kind of crazy.
It kind of blew my mind. Too bad the rest of the park wasn't open that day, but we saw that part.
Unfortunate.
I've been to a lot of other places too, though. Like, been to South Carolina for the ocean a few times. I got a lot of family in New England.
Okay. Any particular favorites or highlights?
The big loops around the West are probably what stick out with me the most, because you see a lot of things in one trip.
Okay.
Well, I do remember one day on the first one, there was like the biggest heat wave in a decade out in the desert Southwest.
Oof.
127.
Yikes.
127 degrees.
Wow, I think the highest I've ever been in is 109. So oof, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, there's a point where it's no longer a dry heat. It's just a heat.
It's just that, yeah, it might as well just be an oven outside.
It was not
One of
great.
those crack an egg on the sidewalk, it'll cook kind of situations.
Yeah, it might have actually cooked that day.
That's crazy. I hope the trip still went well, even though the heat index was a little high.
Yeah, the good news with that trip though, when you get to the higher elevations, it's a lot nicer. So
Fair enough. I guess it would cool down, I would assume.
yes, it got actually decent, and we got to see the Grand Canyon right after that, so that was cool.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds like fun. All right, that sounds like a lot of fun. I hope you have. Wow, pardon me. That sounds like a lot of fun. I hope that it's something that you get to do more of, and something that you've enjoyed so far.
I really hope I can. It'll probably be more solo for after this last one though, so it's gonna be different.
Fair enough. If you ever are in Virginia somewhere, shoot me a DM.
Okay.
Not that you have any reason to come to Virginia. We're just a giant swamp with nothing in it, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd want to do in Virginia. Honestly, it's not in the way of anywhere, which is an interesting thing.
Yeah, nah, that makes sense. I'm just being silly.
And, no, I know what you mean. Also, I wish the roads went over that direction a little better than they do from where I am.
Also fair. I don't do any traveling, so I don't have any context for that. But hey, but all right. Aside from apparently going literally everywhere, do you have any other major hobbies that maybe like, or anything in particular you do to like relax or spend your time to kind of de-stress?
Yeah, I mean a lot of what I had done is the de-stress of the past, and I still do things off stream with video games and such. Certain ones are better for me to de-stress with than others. Anything Kirby is great for de-stressing.
That is a mood and a half. Kirby is a very good comfort game, I think.
Epic Yarn. That's probably the top comfort Kirby game.
That is kind of the coziest of the Kirby games, I'd say.
Sure, you can't absorb any powers, but they still made it work.
They really did. I heard people were really shitting on Epic Yarn when it first came out, and like to an extent, I see the criticisms. But after playing through the whole thing myself, I got really confused. I'm like, this is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Why are people hating on it? You know?
It's even weirder that they hated on it because it came out on the same day as an actually hard game from the same company.
Huh? What game was that?
I played them both next to each other back then. So,
refresh my memory. What game was it?
uh, it was a Donkey Kong Country Returns.
That released on the same day as Epic Yarn?
Yeah,
Huh. Fair enough.
absolutely wild.
Yeah, I totally didn't realize that. But okay. Going back to streaming for a minute. As far as getting into content creation and becoming like a figure on the internet in general, did anything kind of surprise you or strike you as like just kind of blindside you a little bit getting into this kind of thing, or did you feel like you were just kind of ready for anything when you were getting into it?
I went in not knowing what was going to happen, even though I had streamed some in the past. I didn't really know, so I just kind of started, and it kind of just worked out. I mean, it was a really slow time at first, but I had a few friends that would show up to most of my streams, which was really cool.
It's always nice. Having supportive friends is important.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to have people backing you up sometimes, just in general.
Absolutely.
I think actually, two of the three are actually watching right now, which is kind of nice.
Hell yeah. Shoutouts.
Shoutouts to Ruby and Kaine.
I'm sorry, Ruby and who?
Kaine.
Shoutouts to Ruby and Kaine. Thank you so much for being here and supporting your friend.
Yep. I like them, so I hang out with
indeed.
them more. Yeah, yeah. She's cat. They're both cat.
Ah, yes, kitty brained. Fair enough. Okay, but nothing jumped out and was particularly like aggressively, difficult to swallow when you were getting into this. Everything's been pretty chill.
It's been generally chill. It's been I think the main thing I wasn't expecting is how I'd have to build so many different ways of showing stuff. because I have so many games that are like different sizes.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a little off. That's why OBS's tools are so robust, though, right?
Yeah, like I can't. I just don't. I don't have this thing that I can just do an HD a screen and then just build around that because most of my games aren't.
I get what you mean. But fair enough. All right. I think that is coming towards mostly the end of my prepared question list. Um, Before I jump into, well, I do have one last question, and it's usually one thing I save for like the end of my list because it's a bit more somber overall. So, if you don't mind me asking, over the past, either since you got into this content creation journey or just over the past several years in general, do you think you've changed a whole lot as a person? And if so, how do you think you have?
Well, it's less so since I started this, because I only started in late June. But in the last few years, I actually came to terms with who I am,
Okay.
which is like I was not out as trans to anybody like until not that long ago. So
Right.
I have just kind of started the process this year. So that's a huge change.
I can tell.
So I am kind of learning things as I go, even now, and like I'm still sort of the same person I was, but I kind of realize things I didn't know before.
Makes sense.
I don't like the what happened before still happened, and it's still me. It's just
Right.
she didn't
Obviously.
know yet.
Right.
So yeah, I've changed a lot. I actually think having that time where the world kind of stopped helped a lot.
Yeah, people had a lot of really like mixed like, mixed opinions with that. Some people think we need another one, and frankly, I don't fully disagree.
Yeah, I get it, but also I don't think the world can handle it.
Oh,
So
absolutely not. It would result in the absolute collapse of society at this point. But there were some positives.
yes,
But
yeah, there were some for some people it really helped.
for some people, it helped. If you don't mind me asking, is this something that you've only recently come to terms with yourself, or is this something you've known about for a while and just have kind of kept to yourself just out of personal safety?
It's really hard to explain exactly where it's because I think there's a part of me that realized it a long time ago, but didn't let myself know it,
It's a mood and a half.
and I really didn't completely admit it to myself until within the last couple of years, and then telling people was more this year mostly.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, I certainly wish you the best and hope it all goes well.
Thank you so much, and I wish you the best for what your journey, same direction.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been a ride, but
It is absolutely a ride, no question.
well, we have reached pretty much the end of my prepared questions list. Before we go, do you have anything in particular that you'd like to talk about or say as we're shoving off?
We covered a lot, actually. You were definitely prepared for this. I enjoyed this.
I appreciate that. Thank you. No, I just like talking to people. I like giving people a chance to just tell me about themselves.
I like this. This was good.
Hell yeah, I
Uh,
appreciate it.
so I do have a question. You said you may play something after this.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hang around for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, if you don't have anything, that's going to be pretty much it for this particular interview then. Once again, this has been. Oh, actually, I totally
Oh,
forgot. I do have one additional question. And I think you mentioned it was okay if I ask this, so I'm going to go ahead. Since Katie is more of your character name, is it okay if I tell you what your like other name you go by is?
yeah, Diana.
Yeah,
I
okay,
can
Diana.
tell.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind. They know.
I was
I
just
don't.
yeah. Okay. I was just curious, like I guess you kind of answered it in the fact that Katie was like a ascended character, but I was just curious like where the difference between the two is. But
Oh yeah, yeah. It just kind of happened that way, and kind of the thing is, it's kind of just known that the original plan really here was that like I was gonna try to play things more with what Katie knows, but it's kind of known that the person behind it's kind of still there. And then I realized I know some of these games way too well, and I couldn't actually pull that off.
That's fair. I'm facing the same problem. There's like a little series of. Have you heard of The Witch's House?
No.
No, it's one of the, I call them pixel horror games. They're like little short like RPG Maker horror experiences that I love to pieces and wish I could stream them. But I played all of them before I got into streaming, which means I know the puzzles, I know the scares. I couldn't give people an authentic blind playthrough, and it's so upsetting because there's so many of them I want to share with people, and there's just no point because I wouldn't have authentic reactions. So I definitely feel that on a deep level.
Yeah, with you on that. That it's just you can't be great at trying to pretend you don't know things sometimes.
Right.
But there's two different kinds. Like if you're going into a game blind, you do things blind. It's fine. But there's also something about watching somebody that actually knows what they're doing too. And both kind of streams are pretty good. So
I absolutely agree. You just need to structure a stream like that a little differently. Like, that has to be something other than just playing through it for the sake of playing through it, you know?
usually, though, I mean, I've been known to just play through it because I want to.
That is also so fair, though.
And sometimes it works out. Like, sometimes people just like the same game, and you just hang around.
You know, that's absolutely true. I fully agree.
There's a lot of ways to approach these things, which I find really interesting.
That's part of the fun of getting into streaming in general, right? Is that you can do it however you want to, and it will resonate with somebody.
Yeah, I'm finding out. It's a few people around, but that's fun. It's a little hangout. It's great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, I'll go ahead and wrap us up then.
All right, sounds fine to me.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me around.
Oh, absolutely. Once again, let me go ahead and give people your socials real quick. And as I do that, thank you all once again for joining us, peeking behind the curtain once again to just get to know some of your favorite content creators a little bit better. Once again, go ahead and follow Pacific Wishes both on Bsky and on twitch.tv. Always a pleasure to have people here, and always wonderful to get to know somebody a little bit better. So yeah, that's going to go ahead and be it for me. I'm probably going to call stream here for a little bit, and then I will be back with something a little bit later. And if you stick around for that, fantastic. If not, that's totally fine as well. So I think that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.